So I'm really, really, really excited. Can everyone hear me? I actually have this like cool mic. I feel a little bit like an imposter talking in a mic, but it's good for the sound quality. I want people to be able to really hear me. Um, so basically, we're going to start off with a little bit about my journey, just for like a minute to make it a drop personal for people. I myself am a therapist. I'm a social worker. And it was always my dream to help people and to really bring people to a place of inner peace, right? What's the greatest gift in the world than inner peace, right? If you have inner peace, you really have everything, right? If you have everything, but you don't have inner peace, you really got nothing, right? So as a teenager and as a child, I was always, honing into the people that were struggling with friends and as I grew up a little bit, got a little older, into my adult years, I realized I wanted to enter into something that would be of benefit to others as my career. And as I started working in the field as a therapist, I saw that, yes, there's room for good one-on-one therapy and talking and support. There is a huge need for that for all of us. It says in Chazal, "Kani lecha chavercha," that we should acquire for ourselves a friend. And it even is in reference to paying someone to be there for you, to listen. But my desire to give to people wasn't satisfied through the typical traditional way, Western way of trying to be there for others. And my own personal life had taken a little bit of a turn for a very narrow, constricted path that felt very suffocating to me, very, very challenging and very painful. And, I was a therapist myself and I searched for help and for guidance. I looked for people that would be there for me and would help me get through my narrow, constricted path. And unfortunately, my experience was not, budding flowers and roses and good smells. It was quite challenging. And I felt like the narrow path I was on was getting more constricted and more narrow. And my problems were actually becoming heavier and more intense. And the guidance I was getting was actually pushing me into severe panic, severe pain. And I felt there had to be answers. I felt that the traditional Western way of trying to help others was just not going to cut it. And if Hashem runs the world, which he does, then he creates every challenge, which means he creates every solution. And I knew within the deep recesses of my heart and of my being that I was needing to go and find a new track, a new path that would give me answers and help me rise above my challenges. And the first book I read was the book called, written by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. And amidst tremendous pain in my personal life, I read this book and I had no idea what my life would look like from today to tomorrow. But I felt deep inner peace after reading his book. Within the chaos and within real challenge, I was able to hone in to my life energy, my life source, the essence of me, and connect to that part of me that is unconditional and God divine energy. And we say it's the Ruach Apav Nishmas Chaim, it's the breath of life Hashem blew into us. And I was able to separate myself from all the things that I'm not, which is basically everything in our life, and hone into the thing I am, which is the one thing that usually gets ignored and oftentimes abused because we don't give it attention, we don't focus on it. And that is the essence of who we truly are. That is this unconditional, loving, divine, godly energy that is really our true power. And I started honing into that. And in English, this word is called consciousness. And it's being flung around the world on many levels, and people have different perspectives on what consciousness is. But in general, everyone agrees that the term consciousness, and coming from a Torah-based truth definition, consciousness is the God pulsing energy within every single physical, emotional, and spiritual thing that exists. Every single thing that exists, including the table that this computer is on, including my physical body, my clothing, and my soul, is all made out of the same divine, sparkling, powerful energy, God divine energy. And being able to hone in to the truth of what really lies in front of us, instead of focusing in on the table as just a piece of wood, but rather the essence of the table is God's divine energy, which I know this sounds really abstract and this sounds really weird, but we're going to break it down and make it really tangible. But for me, my personal journey led me to understanding that there's much more than just a table I see, or the person in front of me, or people that are really challenging in my life. There's more than the eye meets. And this has fueled my journey to understanding on a much deeper level what it means to be conscious, what it means to be connected to the true part of me, and therefore what it means to be connected truly to others as well, and the true parts of them, and being able to differentiate what's really them and what's really not them. And that is the secret to understanding and cultivating and healing relationships. So with that little introduction, we're going to get moving, and I'm so excited, and thank you so much for being here. Okay, so gonna start with this, the concept of two powers. Okay, so basically there's two powers that we constantly have that are fueling our behaviors and fueling our emotions. The first power that we're born with, that we come into the world screaming, crying, kicking, right, naked, and we're just this little physical bundle of needs and, you know, high intense emotions, all that is an expression of the power of the body. The power of the body is one power, and then there's the power of the neshama, the soul powers. Okay, now the power of the body is what we basically view the subconscious mind, because it's the subconscious mind, right, that is going to push a baby to cry when they're hungry or when they need to be changed. It's the subconscious mind that makes you put on a sweater when you're cold, right? You just like, what? It's a subconscious mind that's pumping your heart as I speak, right? You're not doing that. Your subconscious mind is regulating and healing and allowing you to live in a physical body, and it's involved with growth and repair and all the automatic things that the body does in order to keep you alive and healthy, right? So that is the first power, the power of the body through the subconscious mind. Okay, that, right, takes care of all our automatic needs and pushes us to take care of ourselves. Now the subconscious mind is really focused on one specific thing, and that is the need to be safe, the need for protection of self. Okay, so although the subconscious is there to promote safety and to promote health and healing without our very big involvement in it, right? Imagine if every single time you had to go to the bathroom, you had to do like a whole physical, like you have to do all these exercises and figure, you know, to allow your body to work properly, right? Someone whose subconscious mind and isn't working right and has to go on dialysis, right? It's a really big deal to go to the bathroom. But thank God, because of our subconscious mind, most of us, right, if we're healthy, we just get to go to the bathroom and it takes a second, right? We just go in, we go out. That's a huge gift, right? It wants to keep us healthy. But what happens when there's a mix-up on what's safe and what's not safe? Because the subconscious mind wants to keep you safe. So what's an example where the subconscious mind will do something actually to your detriment for the sake of safety. So I thought of a few examples. So one example would be, you want to go to the gym. Let's take a person, not you. A person wants to go to the gym, wants to work out, wants to lose some weight, wants to be healthy, right? Wants to be fit. And they don't go. Why don't they go? They have good reason. Their subconscious mind is telling them they have very, very good reason. The reason is because they are 30 pounds overweight. They were always heavy as a child. They were bullied. And going to the gym would mean exposing their weakness or their challenge in being overweight. And if they were bullied as a child, that they were overweight, they were fat, they were made fun of, going to the gym feels almost toxic, feels so scary. It feels so threatening to themselves, right? It dysregulates their emotions. So they don't go. Now, the right thing for that person to do, the healthy thing for that person to do would be to go and take care of themselves. But because the subconscious mind wants to keep them in a place of protection, they won't go. That's the power of the subconscious mind, because protection and safety comes before what's really safe and what's really good. What feels safe and what feels protecting is what's going to have more power over a person, usually, unless they learned this work. They learned about the subconscious, and they learned about the power of the soul, which we're going to go into, and how to deal with this huge urge that fuels us to kind of just automatically do things that make us comfortable, like keep us in a place of comfort and safety. Another example would be someone that has been dreaming for a specific job interview and wants it so badly, the specific job or specific interview, and they land it. They land the interview, and they get the call from the office that says, hey, we would love you to come in. We would love to meet you. We want to give you a chance. And this person who's always wanted this job and dreamed of getting this interview declines the interview. Why? Why would they do that? There's very good reason why for this person. They don't feel safe taking the interview. They are going to be plunged into complete insecurity and anxiety. Why? Let's say this person as a child was rejected over and over and over again by parents, and it spilled over to school, because usually how your parents treat you spills over to your confidence and what you expect how others to treat you is a reflection of how your parents treat you oftentimes. And so in school, this child was also rejected by teachers, by friends. And this was a theme of this person's life: rejection, never being good enough. And this person has amazing talents to be able to, do this job well. But as they come face to face with this fear, deep fear of being rejected, they say, no, I'm sorry, it's not going to work out for me. Actually, this job's not for me. And they cancel the interview because they can't take that chance of meeting deep rejection. They can't do that. That is really unsafe. That is really, really not going to work for them. And they'll be convinced that the subconscious mind is so powerful. It'll convince you that you don't really want the job. It'll play mind games with you. It'll really commit. You'll be like, what do you mean? This is not about rejection. This is totally because the job, it doesn't work for me. The hours, they'll make up a real reason why this won't work. That is how powerful the subconscious mind is in sabotaging our life if not used properly, which you can't use your subconscious mind properly if you don't do the inner work and understand its power over you. Okay, now we are going to move on to the second power. So we spoke about the power of the body, aka the subconscious mind and its vision of what's safe and what's good for you, and how it's going to protect you. And now we're going to switch over to the power of the neshama, the power of the soul, and its vision for you. Okay, so we call in English terms and in Jewish terms, the right way of calling the vision of the soul is the super conscious power. It's super conscious, okay? All soul powers are super conscious powers. And I'll tell you a secret. All powers are super conscious powers. If it's power, it's from your soul. Anything real that you can do comes from your soul, not from the body. Let me explain this. I know you're probably a drop confused. Let me explain this to you. Take an eye, for example. Your eyes allow you to see, right? Well, let me tell you a story. There was a man that had surgery, and it was a very, very intricate surgery, and the surgery went south. And this man started losing his life on the surgical table. He started dying. And he, I think, was even like called clinically dead. I think he was like, they were like, oh, wow, this man is dead. And he saw himself lying on the table with all, the blood and whatever. He saw himself lying there. How could he see? He's dead. He ended up coming back and had an out-of-body experience, and he came back to life and whatever. There's a lot of stories like this. People like medically are considered dead, but then they come right back, right? And he saw his body there, but he wasn't seeing through his eyes. He was seeing through his soul. Now, we don't want to have that experience. Okay. We want to be able to just see easily through our physical eyes. And, I just got a comment. Okay. I'm going to look at questions soon. We can see, we want to be able to see physically through our eyes, right? We don't want to have an out-of-body experience. We don't want that to happen to us. But the soul power of sight needs the vessel of the eye in the physical world, in the physical experience of our bodies, to be expressed. This is the magic, everyone. Listen to this. Your soul powers cannot be expressed without the physical vessels of your body. You see, your body has a different vision than your soul. And if anything, your body's vision is counteractive to actually allowing the powers of your soul to be manifested in this world. But, this is the but, you need your mind, you need your subconscious, and you need your body in order to extract the true powers that are real and that are part of you. You need your body to bring those powers into physical experience in this world. How amazing is that? So when you look at like all talents, the fact that I'm speaking right now, is that a power of my mouth or a power of my mind even? No, it's a power of my soul. It's a soul power, but it's being expressed through my physical being of my body, my mind, my mind in choosing to make this choice of speaking, my mouth, right? My physical experience here is what allows my soul power to be manifested and expressed. Take singing, take dancing, take anything you're good at, any talent. It's all a power of the soul, and it's your physical body that is going to be the vessel to bring out those powers in the here and now. So the goal of life, right? Oh, by the way, there's something very interesting to say, that when there's an actual ailment in the body, okay, and I could even tell you personally, because I feel like, I want to teach you all. I'll tell you an example in a minute, but when there's an ailment in the body, it's an expression not of the body. It's an expression of the soul's lack of nourishment, lack of being tended to, lack of being taken care of, and it has now manifested as a wound or a sickness or an illness or a not working part of the body, okay? So let me give you an example. I'm just going to be personal because we're here to grow. I had a thyroid issue, and I'm more natural and more holistic when it comes to healing. I didn't want to just go and take medication. And I had to do some natural healing to help my thyroid get back into balance. And I got my thyroid back into balance, thank God. Now the thyroid is an expression, is connected to speech. Okay. It's connected to speech. The thyroid is right over here. And it's connected to the expression of the mouth. Now, thank God, my thyroid started doing well again. I started feeling energized. And then I was going to do 2 live courses, one in Lakewood and one in Bar Park. And I didn't have enough signups. And I canceled the 2 classes. And I kind of like chilled out and didn't really focus on this course and this business because it takes work. It takes emotional work to do this. And I called my natural doctor. I had an appointment with her and she goes, your thyroid is not doing well. Your thyroid is not doing well. And right away I was like, that's because I'm like crouching in the corner, not taking responsibility for what my soul needs me to do, which is to do this course. And about a day or 2 later, I said, I'm going to do the Zoom. I'm just going to do Zoom. I'm going to do it. I've never done Zoom in my life. I wouldn't call myself a technology advanced person at all. I know I look it because of my videos, but I hire someone to help me with that. So all the technology stuff, I have a shortcut because I pay someone to help me with that. Right. So I just threw the Zoom thing together, and guess what? My natural doctor told me the next time I spoke to her, my thyroid was up to par perfectly. Right. So every single thing in the body is a reflection of the soul, including illness. And it's brought down that every illness a person has, it's only created so it can be healed. Hashem doesn't just give illness and sickness to those so they can wail in victimhood and say, poor me, why was I destitute for this? No, Hashem gives challenges in the physical body as messengers and messages to us to allow us to take a deeper look at ourselves and say, hey, where am I holding in my subconscious power? And where am I holding in my super conscious power? And which one is becoming the active vehicle driving me in my life? The automatic system that just fuels me forward without my thinking, just keeps me in protection? Or is it actually my soul powers that I'm meant to bring into manifestation in this physical experience through my body, right? And when we get sick or when we have emotional overload, anxiety, panic, depression, any emotional experience that needs to be balanced, they are signs to how we need to do inner healing and inner work. And it's not about being bad or good. It's nothing to do. We're all amazing and we all have incredible power. And actually, unlike the traditional ways of, and unlike 2022 judgment, like the person that probably is struggling the most with inner equilibrium, finding inner peace, getting out of depression or getting out of anxiety or severe panic or whatever it is, those are the people that most likely have way more powerful souls and way more powerful power that they are responsible to bring into this world through themselves. But, so when someone's just doing everything right and, life is flying by, everyone struggles, but when you see the picture perfect person, if there is such a thing, right? And everything just working out, they probably don't have as much responsibility through, to measure up to in this world because they don't have as much soul power. So unlike traditional ways of judging another person who's a better person or who's right, it's not about that. It's like the ones that actually have the most are going to probably struggle the most also, but they're not meant to stay in struggle. They're meant to do inner work. And as they do the inner work and balancing out the subconscious, with the superconscious, which I'm going to discuss in a second, then they will bring to the world the powers that they have and that they are holding, and they will make a huge difference. And the world needs that. The world needs that. So we're going to move on to, I'm going to ask for questions in a minute. But I just want to say one aspect to finish up this point, and then we'll break into questions and we'll see how much more we could do. I have a lot more, but Don't worry, it's not a rush. We'll do what we can. It's fine. I want to make sure everyone really just understands this. So what is the goal of life? The goal of life is to, as I said before, to bridge, is really to pull through your superpowers from your superconscious, your soul powers into your physical being. So how do we do that? We do that with, I didn't say this before, but with the conscious mind. The conscious mind is like that teeny weeny part of your brain, that 5%, if you're lucky, right? That allows you to be aware of things. The fact that I'm aware right now that I am talking to you on Zoom is coming from my conscious part of my mind. The fact that I'm seeing who's on and whose video is on, who's off, or how many people are here, right? This is all from my conscious mind, right? So it's the conscious mind that is so little teeny and small that becomes this little teeny narrow bridge from your subconscious vision of the body to traveling the distance to your superconscious soul powers. Because if you're run by automatic pilot, right, and your subconscious mind is just fueling your decisions and you're not, right? And then you have these like super conscious powers that are like abstract and lofty, that are like not really in your primary vision, and you're just kind of protecting yourself. How are you supposed to extract those powers and bring them into this physical experience, right? It's almost unfair, right? So the answer is that through that little conscious mind of yours, that little teeny bit, that's where you have free choice. That is where you have free choice, where you are aware of the power of the subconscious, and you use your conscious mind to understand both the subconscious powers and your soul powers. And then you start to make choices. Hey, I'm in fear. I'm frozen in fear. Does that mean I should stand behind this blockage of fear and not manifest the greater, beautiful parts of me that need to be expressed? Because people need, I have something to add to the world. You all have something to add to the world. We're created for a reason. There's purpose to all of our lives, right? We weren't just created to just live and then die. We're created to fulfill a mission. And our mission is defined by our powers and our talents, which are your soul powers. So only through that little 5% of your conscious mind, you will be able to make free choices that will allow you to either stay behind in protection of the subconscious, and without your mind making choices, just kind of whatever, however you go, wherever you go, whatever you do, whatever feels safe is where you'll end up being. Or you can use the 5% of that conscious mind and understand. And then what you do is as you understand the subconscious and as you understand your superpowers, your superconscious, you start to make that 5%, 6%, 7%, 8%. You start to expand your consciousness. And then you see the world from a different place. You see, when you're when the consciousness part of your mind is so little and small, it's much easier to see the world as black and white. Good person, bad person, sick person, healthy person, rich person, poor person. It's natural to just judge and to just say, this is what it is, and this is and that's how that is, right? But the greater you expand your conscious mind, the more the world isn't black and white. It's a mix of both constantly. And you have much more power in the choices you make, because you're not bouncing yourself like a ball, like bad, good, bad, good. It's like, hold on here. There's bad and good constantly mixed together. There's dark and light constantly mixed together. Let me take a look at this. Right? So that is really the concept of, right, using your conscious mind. We're almost at questions. Just one more point, and I'm going to ask everyone to open up for questions, and you could unmute yourself. So now, basically, this is very cool. I love this. Rabbi Yisrael Tauber, he says he had a question. It says, Shechazarta bi nishmasi. Every day, moda'ani, when we wake up, we thank Hashem for returning our neshama back to us. And the wording is Shechazarta bi nishmasi, right? that you return to me, my neshama. So the question is, Rabbi Israel Taber had this question as a child. He says, but you return to me, my neshama, then who am I, if not my soul? And we kind of a little bit answered it, but the answer really is that you're not your body. You're not really your soul. You are the consciousness, that little 5% of your mind that chooses which power will have power over you. That is who you truly are. You are a force that chooses between two other very strong forces. And this is really what it means to have Yetzer Hara and Yetzer Tov. From a time we were 5, 4, 3, we learned all about the Yetzer Hara, the Yetzer Tov, do a mitzvah. If you don't listen to mommy, it's a Yetzer Hara. What is Yetzer Hara? What is Yetzer Hara? Let's get real. What is it? Like a little spooky, alien guy behind you telling you to do bad? It's your subconscious mind wanting to keep you in a place of protection, but also wanting to keep you small and insignificant. And your conscious, superconscious powers is the vision of your soul that many people don't even get connected to, because their conscious mind is so minuscule and small, since they keep themselves running away from themselves by keeping overly busy, overly exhausted, overly dramatic, overly panicked, overly subconscious. And they don't even hear of their soul. They are not even aware of the power they have inside of them for their own joy, to do things, to become, right? So who are we? We are, in fact, consciousness that chooses. Okay, so now we're going to open up for questions. So who wants to ask any questions? You could unmute yourself and you could just start talking. Does anyone want, can someone ask a question? It would be so fun. If you feel more comfortable, then you can even type.
I have a question.
Yes, hooray, Shoshana, I'm so excited.
Yes.
How are you?
So you were talking about our better side of ourselves are the conscious, you correct me, right? Or the super conscious.
So the better, yeah, the soul, yeah, the power, your true power, which is soul power, yeah.
And getting in contact with that is ensured by being more quiet and being more in tuned to yourself, within yourself. I'm trying to understand that. Is that what you're trying to say?
So you're asking an excellent question. Excellent. I did not at all give enough time to go into that. My course, by the way, everyone here, I'm just letting you know, I teach a course online. This is like a free intro. So obviously, we're just going to touch a minuscule amount of information. But Shoshana, you're 100% right. You hopped what something very powerful that I didn't give too much time to. That yeah, I try really hard to sit for 10 to 15 minutes a day, like in quiet, doing some gratitude to Hashem, but just sitting, kind of like just being with myself. I'll take a coffee. I try to, something like that, so that way I just get to have quiet with myself. And I find that I do it periodically throughout the day. Like I'll be like, okay, you know what, 5 minutes. I'll even put the timer on sometimes if I'm very busy or whatever. But I know for those 5, really ideally is 10 to 15 minutes a day. And a lot of times I'll do more. I'll do an hour sometimes. I'll do like meditation. It's all whatever. It's a lot to discuss. But yeah, 15 minutes, 10 minutes a day of sitting with yourself is key, literally key to starting to connect to your soul powers. The biggest Yetzer Hara, right, is going to be to keep, which is going to be self-sabotage, is going to be not letting you ever discover the parts of you that are really powerful and real, that come from your neshama, that are your soul powers. And through being very busy, that is a great way of sabotaging the true part of you. I can tell you, I've done that for years. I have run away from myself because I have been overly busy, and people would call me and be like, Hadassah, how are you? And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I have this and that, whatever. And I loved it. I was like loving escaping myself. It was so comfortable, right? I didn't want to meet my soul powers. I was going to have to go on Zoom and create this class, it wasn't comfortable for me. But yeah, but sitting with
But what if
myself.
you really are busy? I'm saying there are, let's say, things that
I was really very busy. Trust me. You have to do it very slowly. You have to become a vessel to even get connected to your soul. You can't just get connected to your soul in one instant. You even have to take baby steps for that. Life is not about jumping. It's about taking teeny steps. So that's why I would even recommend people that never sit with themselves to sit for 5 minutes in quiet with a coffee, chill. Thank you, Hashem, Baruch Hashem, physically I'm well, and whatever it is, or, and just talk a little bit, sit with your mind, I get so many amazing insights and like spiritual downloads of like, I know it sounds weird, but like, I get so many amazing, profound insights when I sit with myself. It's like amazing. It's like, I literally like hear my neshama talking. It's crazy. But it's true. And I could bring it to you in Sparrim and whatever. I'm not making this up. I'm not like a quack that like is just trying to sound holy, if I dare say so myself, So yeah, does that make sense?
Yes, thank you very much. I like that.
Okay, amazing. Anyone else? Thank you, Shoshana. Beautiful question. Anyone else that would like to ask any specific questions? Anyone want to overcome their subconscious fear of being in a protected state and ask a question?
I have another question. Can I ask
Sure,
another
one? you go for it. I like it.
You were mentioning how our physical bodies, it manifests when our soul is missing or craving a certain amount of I guess light that it really has.
Yeah. Well, it's more that it's being neglected. For example, like let's say with my thyroid, I was neglecting my soul purpose, which is, obviously through the tool of speaking, right? Like if I'm meant to do a Zoom class, then I would have to have some sort of talent with being able to speak to some degree, right? Or else that wouldn't be my mission. Right? My mission would be something else. So I wasn't honing into, I wasn't manifesting, I wasn't taking action towards leaning into my soul purpose through a knowledge of my talents, right? So then my body was responding to me, right? And telling me like your mission as a body is to be a vessel to carry out your soul's purpose. So if you're not doing it, the body starts to literally rot. It's what it says in Elokai Neshama, I think. So look it up.
How do you know which body is aligned to what? Meaning, like you figured out that your thyroid was your mission in terms of speaking and spreading Hashem's Torah.
Yeah, totally. It was much more than just my thyroid. It was a lot of my challenges, and I'm still on a constant like, hey Hashem, what do you want from me? Like, I'm still like, I've had so many. Anytime I have a relationship issue with someone, or I'm always like constantly, hey Hashem, what is this about? Like, you need to have real curiosity to every single thing that happens to you. Like, what is this about? Not to become crazy OCD about it, but like nothing is for naught. Nothing is by accident. Nothing is by chance. There's always a deeper message.
So how do you get in tune with that deeper message? Meaning, like, I guess you understood or that it was something that you had to fight the challenge and make yourself out there in terms of sharing, the things that you learned with others. And so I guess my question is in terms of how do you know what, I guess maybe, is there like such a thing that different parts of the body align to different parts of what?
Definitely. Does Khani, do you want to talk a little bit? Okay, no? Okay, fine. No, my friend, I actually have Khani, you want to say anything?
There for sure is. There is this book, Heal Your Body, which definitely could go into like the different emotions to underline certain things. And sometimes, like she was saying, sit and it, like Hadassah was saying, when you take that quiet, sometimes saying we're too busy, right? It's trying to control everything and not address what is truly happening. Like, I lost my train of thought, but yeah, letting go of the busyness and sitting down and talking and letting go of that control. And then you could just sit down and say, hey, Hashem, what do you want me to hear right now? What is this message? And sometimes it'll, you'll self-know intuitively, or, you can look it up.
Yeah, it's really good. Louise Hay is like amazing. Tahani, thank you so much. Louise Hay is a really, really good and easy, simple book for anyone. I think everyone should own one of her books. I mean, I just Google it always, so I actually don't even have the books, but I'm always looking up like Louise Hay. If like my husband has something or my child has something or I have something, I'm just like, okay, let's look it up. Louise Hay, why do we have this? Why do we have that? Right? And it's interesting. She really tells you the root emotion that is the cause of the physical virus experience, ache in the part of the body, sore there, whatever it is, infection, issues with certain organs, 100%.
There's also so much also in Judaism besides Louis Hay. There's the spheros and the centers and all that. If you want to go deeper or whatever,
It's
what
way
everything
deeper.
is connected, and you know.
Definitely. Oh my, I love that, Hani. Anything else, Hani, you want to say about the spheros? Or I know there's like, we'll never end. We'll never end if we do, but do you want to say like one or two lines?
No,
You're good? Right. So
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the spheros, you see, everything is really like Louise Hay, let's say, like a quote unquote, almost like a dumbed down version of like getting awareness of how the body communicates with us. But when you learn deeply through Hasidus, which is really what I teach, right? The spheros, and which is right, Keser, and then we have Chachma Bina Das, Chesed, Gevura, Teferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and then Malchus at the bottom. I'm not going to go into explain what this is, but each correlate to different aspects and functions of the body. And in the non-Jewish world, they talk about it as chakras. So it's really interesting because it's brought down that before Mashiach comes, we will have the oneness of Hashem revealed through Shemayim and also through Aretz. And Shemayim is really the mystical works of Torah, which I would say is like, right, like the Zohar. Hasidus comes from the Zohar, which is the secrets of the Torah. But from secular sources as well, it's permeating the earth. And as Jews, by the way, it is really our responsibility to know this information and to spread it and to share it, because it's rampantly being spread in secular works. So for everyone that is here, it's beautiful that you're here, because we are the ones that are meant to know this information, carry this information, and be the lamplighters of the world, which is really, really why I'm here doing my this is my purpose, I think, because I want to get into the tri-state Jewish area, and really, we need to know this. We really need to know this, and we will totally transform the entire world if we're able to internalize these truths and live our life accordingly. And this is like literally a dot in the bucket, because this is slide 1 of like 30 slides, right? So we're going to end soon in 10 minutes, but and this is just my introduction course, right? There is so much potent, gorgeous, mind-shifting, amazing information to just your life. You just see differently. Things are different. And that's why I'm like, when people have real challenges and real issues and they go to the typical, traditional, Western, secular ways of manipulating challenges, they don't realize, but oftentimes it's emotional and spiritual suicide. I'm sorry for coming out so harshly and saying that. I'm saying it though, because I've encountered that myself. I've literally encountered, and even Rabbanim encouraged me to follow blindly these professionals and commit emotional, spiritual suicide. And Baruch Hashem, I chose, someone once told me when I was, before I was even married, someone I respected a lot told me that I'm a rebel. And I said, I'm not a rebel. I'm such a good Jew. And they said, no, you're not a rebel like that. You're a rebel like Avram Avinu was a rebel. He rebelled against the world and brought monotheism there, right? When everyone served idols and he said, no, there's one God, there's no such thing, right? So thank God that part of me kicked in and I didn't listen to these people or professionals or even Rabbanim, and I'm finding truth, and we have got to find the truth. We have got to, because so many people in Klal Yisrael are suffering so terribly and their problems are not being resolved necessarily. And if anything, they're getting much worse. So I'm just so grateful everyone is here, whoever is here. And if we want to end with another question, we can, let's see the chat. Heading to everyone. Rabbi Ginsburg is very good. Definitely. He's very, very, very deep. So I would say that it's hard if you haven't really learned this stuff. It's definitely hard to read. It's hard for me to read even, but I do have his books. I would say that actually my friend Hani told me that Rabbi Pinson is a really, really good, he's extremely deep. And I've not actually read his books, but I've listened to his shiurim actually. And I've rifled through my friend's house, Rabbi Pinson's books, and he is really clear and really, really deep. I would recommend Rabbi Pinson's book more than even Rabbi Ginsburg, but Rabbi Ginsburg is amazing also. Let me just see what else. How long is the things? Don't hear you. Don't hear. Oh, I'm just looking. Googled it and couldn't find the book. Googled it and couldn't find the book. Rabbi Pinson. I don't know which book. Oh, Chaya to everyone. Really like Rabbi Pinson's work too. Exactly. Okay. Is there anyone else that wants to ask? If not, then I could do a little. Should I do a little bit more, or should I stay on a little bit more? We could stay on until 1. That's what I was thinking. I definitely have more to share. Anyone want to ask anything, or should I just say a little bit more?
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Krena.
Hi, Krena.
I told so many people to come on this, and then my schedule changed, and I just jumped in 15 minutes ago. So if I can be so bold, the same way someone went to Rabbi Shammai and said, give the Torah over standing on one foot. Since I missed so much of this, could you just Bekitzer, I'm familiar with all of these concepts, but if you could just sum up what your main focus or intention was to, give over.
You could be bold, no problem. For everyone, it will be a review, but I'm going to say it really fast and really in one line so we can move on a little bit more. But in one line, we are comprised of 2 powers, the power of the body as the subconscious mind and the power of the soul, which is the superconscious. All power comes from the soul, and we are born with the subconscious power, the power of the body, kind of automatic running, we're just under that power, and we have to use our conscious mind, which is only 5% of our mind, to extract the true power of what we truly have, which is the power of the neshama, the powers of the soul, which all power comes from, using our conscious mind through expanding it by understanding the subconscious. Does that make sense? It was pretty fast.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And one other thing, I see you're recording this. If we just use the link after this year, can it be seen in its entirety?
Yeah, so everyone can email my website, the Change Your Mind, the Change Your Mind email. It's on the website. Okay. Or you can even, if you have my number, you can directly contact me. If I don't want to take my number, it's 443-386-2101. You can contact me. Whoops, I don't know if I should have said that. It's a Zoom recording. I don't know. Okay, whatever. It's okay. Okay, so yeah, I'm sure you can reach out to me through the website or through however you found this link. I'm sure people can, figure it out. So I'm going to go a little bit more and just to, why not? So basically the subconscious mind, it's when you're under the power of the subconscious, you're not there. Okay. The conscious part of you, which we said is really who you are. It's that force that picks and chooses, right? When you're under the, that subconscious, power, you're not there. So what does that mean? It means that, I'm sure you've driven somewhere. I've driven places and I get there and I'm like, wow, how did I get here? I don't remember stopping by the reds, going by the greens. I don't remember passing by, the streets I usually pass, but I'm just all of a sudden there. Why? How does that work? Because consciously, I wasn't really there, but subconsciously, my mind automatically brought me to where I needed to be. So, right, your consciousness is really who you are. Then the same thing with like when you have a conversation with someone. Do you ever have a conversation with someone where they're like a little bit checked out, right? Talking to your husband, right? And you know your husband's not like there listening to you, or a friend, or someone in your life that you're trying to have a real conversation with, and they're like nodding and they were even responding. They're like, yeah, I understand. But you're like, they do not get it. They do not understand, right? They're not there, right? So because consciously they're not there, but their automatic system is letting them continue life as a physical being in the physical world in the best way under an automatic robotic experience, right? So same thing with children. We could be their kids, feed them supper, take care of them, but are we there? And I think this is something to definitely discuss at some point with, you know, the parenting piece, because children need us to be there. They don't just need us to feed them and make sure they're clean at night. They need us to be there. They need us to connect to them, because you cannot connect to someone if you are not there. If your automatic subconscious mind is what's propelling you to just do the dance and say the things you got to say and say goodnight, I love you, and you know, Shema and whatever, jump into bed, right? But you're not really there. Your child never got you. They just got orders from someone acting in a robotic manner. And that's really painful for children. And they feel that and they know that. So we could never yell or scream, but act in a robotic fashion where we're just not conscious, right? We're not conscious. That 5% of us, we're not aware. We're not in the moment. You know, anytime we're not in the moment, it means our subconscious mind is what's propelling us to move forward and make choices. And right. But when we're in the moment, we're conscious, right? So a great way of checking into yourself to say, hey, am I conscious or am I just checked out? Notice if you're able to absorb the moments, even moments that are uncomfortable, right? Because we know people that have gone through a lot of trauma, right? They'll disassociate, which is like they'll be there in the trauma, but they'll be checked out, right? But we can disassociate even when it comes to supper time because we're just overwhelmed by the needs of, you know, feeding however many kids and, you know, making sure the house looks okay before, you know, the husband comes home or whatever the circumstances are, right? So we want to make sure we're not checked out, and we want to be able to face the emotions we're running away from, actually, that is causing us to get checked out. Like if it's overwhelm or stress or fear, we want to be able to face it and deal with it and heal it versus just checking out, not being in the moment and letting the subconscious mind run our day or life. And then we get to 120 and we're like, wait, did I ever live a day of my life? Right. And that's really terrifying. So, right. So anytime you, right, as I said, with a dinner, if you have feeding a bunch of kids and you need your house to look a certain way and you have other responsibilities to take care of and you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed, you're going to have a trigger to take you out of balanced emotion, and you're going to feel a negative emotion that you don't want. Right. And that is always the key for the subconscious mind to enter you and to cause you to become identified under it, which is a whole topic of itself. And that's where ego is created. And that's a whole different topic. But the point is that become hyper aware when you're in a place of like stress or emotional overload. Am I just checking out and going unconscious? Or am I going to be able to be in the moment, take a few deep breaths, get through it? I'm still here. I'm still present, and I'm going to be conscious. Okay. Okay. And yes, that is basically the gist. It's 1 o'clock. I will do something cool. Share screen. This is actually part of my, I actually have slides, not this. Hold on a second. This is actually, see, I'm supposed to do all these slides with you. I did one slide. So this is the first slide. So we'll end with this slide. Consciousness is a deep awareness of yourself, right? It's the force that chooses between, right, the force of the body and the force of the soul. You are not your thoughts or emotions. They are something you experience. They are not you. We didn't even discuss this at all. But it's basically saying that your emotions and your thoughts are part of the subconscious. It's part of the subconscious way of making you lose yourself, honestly, and get absorbed with those emotions, right? like I was saying, if you're getting overwhelmed by dinner, right, then you might check out, right, and go unconscious and lose the aspect that really makes you you, right? So thoughts and emotions, oftentimes I'll hear people say that they have, anxiety, tons of anxiety, that they are so anxious, that they're so depressed. And I tell them, no, that's not who you are. You're not anxious. You're not depressed. You're experiencing anxiety. You're experiencing depression. That's not who you are, right? Remember, you're just a force, and you're a force that chooses, right? And the anxiety and depression and all those negative emotions are connected to your subconscious. But the last thing you want to do is get yourself identified and say, that's who I am on my subconscious. You're not. And then oftentimes, right, it's the thoughts in your head and your emotions in your heart that can block you from feeling the essence of who you truly are, right? Which is that consciousness that chooses, right, between the power of the body or the power of the soul. But we become so enmeshed in our obsessive thinking, panic, anxiety, and we lose ourselves. So we have to recognize the power of the subconscious mind over us and find resilience to not get kidnapped almost by it, right? And say, hey, there's a lot of emotions here. Let me just observe it, right? I'm not going to feel embarrassed or like really like sad that I'm feeling this and saying this is who I am, because no, these are experiences coming into my life, but this isn't me. This is from the subconscious mind, and I'm going to observe it, and I'm going to be conscious and just watch the experience. I know this is a little bit abstract, but I just thought it's very relevant for just ending. So I think we're going to just end here, and maybe we'll do another one next week. Would any of you be interested in another free Zoom intro next week? You could put it in the chat. Yes, please. Okay, fine. So then great. Or you can nod your head. I see DH, you want another free class next week? Yes, loved it. Thank you. Amazing. Oh, wow. This is so exciting. Great. So we'll do another class next week, and we'll just keep on going. We will do another class. I'm going to put another link out on my WhatsApp group. Whoever is not on the WhatsApp group, please try to get on, because I put amazing content on. You can go on my website and you can just click the link. Yeah, and please, whoever could spread it to other people, it would be a huge chesed, because advertising is a bloody fortune. I already spent so much money, and I feel like the people that came on really didn't even come from the ad. It came from the people that know me, know my work, whatever. So please, it would be huge chesed. I want people to have this, the privilege of getting truth. And we'll do it next week, and I'll send out the Zoom link. Thanks so much, guys, for being there.
Hadassah, why don't you tell us more about your course and what we can expect from your course?
Okay, so about the course. Okay, so basically, thank you so much, Hani. So yeah, so this is an introduction to the course. The course really is live and interactive. Like, this is my first time doing Zoom, but usually I do my course live, and I would do live technically in Brooklyn or in Lakewood if I had a big enough group, but for now I don't. So we're trying to do Zoom. So the course is all about recognizing the true you, and understanding dysfunction, right? This term is always like thrown out, like they're dysfunctional. Yeah, it's dysfunctional. What's going on in that house? Oh, it's dysfunctional, right? What does it mean, dysfunctional? Honestly, people that say that don't know. They don't know what dysfunction really means, and they don't know how to understand it. But when you understand it, you understand what's going on, you just have so much more power to make good choices that will allow you to fill your purpose and tap into your true potential, okay? And live in a better existence, live with peace, live with loving relationships that are not abusive, live with being, the parent you want to be, live with financially, taken care of. All blessings really come through this channel of being conscious. So teaching what it means to be conscious is like a huge part of the course. And that in turn really helps with relationship issues, and relationship with yourself, more self-love, who you are, understanding like there really isn't any competition between me and you, because I explain it in a very deep way. There just isn't, you know. Loving yourself regardless of your actions. Your actions don't define you. And I explain what that means. It doesn't mean that you can be irresponsible and not take action. Like, even if your actions don't define you, it doesn't mean you can like neglect your children. But I explain the balance of how you're supposed to see that, you know. I explain the need to do deep inner work, a lot of energy healing. I highly recommend that. I find that is one of the most powerful, potent ways of overcoming your subconscious mind and really growing into the person you're meant to become. But the energy healing is fantastic and amazing, but you also need to have like brain tools to know how to use your brain, okay? Because our brain is the thing that can fuel us forward or break us down. So you want to know how to use this amazing vessel called the brain, which is really what my job is, to help you understand and how to look at life and how to change your perspective, not just being positive, like, oh, wow, let's find the good in it, but actually seeing the truth. Listen, I love my course. What should I say? Most people that have taken it love it. So thank God, I feel very privileged, and it's only getting better and better because I keep on learning and I try to incorporate it. It's very short term. It's 8 weeks. It's $350. It's probably going to be divided in 2 levels, meaning 8 weeks, 1 level, and then another 8 weeks, another second level, because it's virtually impossible to do everything in such a short time. You know, as you see, this was only 1 slide of 30 slides. Right. So yeah, thank you, Hani, for the opportunity to speak about my course. Thank you so much for encouraging that. Anyone else whoever needs to get off can get off, you know. But anything else? Anyone else want to ask anything?
I don't want to ask anything, but I want to thank you for the clarity. You know me with the busy and toning that down to listen. And I love that clarity of how people go into that to stay in a place of safety, because busy is staying in control and trying to control everything, and going into the other of listening to yourself and letting go and trusting and into the more feminine. And I love that clarity of how taking it to a step further of people keeping doing that, because when you control things and you're busy, it gives you the facade that you're like safe or whatever. So thank you.
Totally. Thank you so much, Hani. I love it. Thank you so much. And yeah, I actually had as a topic, I wonder if it was even here, the topic that I was going to also discuss with like a little bit bitachon, like how bitachon works, and how like as you evolve in your personal life and into your purpose, you have to do a lot of the letting go, a lot of not being in control. But we didn't get up to it. But yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, guys. Thank you. Loved it.
Can you clarify?
People really want it at night. I see people really want it at night. Maybe if I can do it really late, like at 9 at night, I could do it at night, but that might be really late for a lot of people. So I'm gonna have to see. Okay, everyone, have a great day. Julie, did you want to speak to me? Did you want to say anything?
I was just going to ask because I'm not Jewish. I don't know Hebrew. The word you just used, takon.
What word did I just use? Hani, what word did I use?
Tikkun, maybe like the tikkun.
Oh,
Yeah.
tikkun.
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 Yeah.
Tikkun and tafkid, yeah. So your purpose of creation. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Thank you, Julie.
What you're here to fix, to make whole.
Yeah. Julie usually knows, she knows a lot more than the average person.
Well, I think you said it a little different than
Shifra?
Yeah, so I just didn't catch the word. Sorry.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. This is so fun. I will send out a Zoom link for the next class, the next free class. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Love you all. Okay. Bye.